And now, a brief look into history. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue to try to find some land for the Queen. The word was out. The Queen was going to let Christopher Columbus fuck her tits if he found some land. The settlers of Great Britain heard there was land. The tyranny of Great Britain was too much. Corporations had sprung up everywhere. The taxes were too high. There were too many taxes. They risked their lives in these shabby boats out into the waters in hopes of finding this land that they call America. It's hard to imagine today how much risk they were really taking when they believed that the water just dropped off at some point. That was the common belief, truly, because they had never been that far. But they risked all. They risked their life. They wanted to find a land that was for them and for their families, where they could find three things: happiness and prosperity, in the pursuit of happiness, and not be taxed and not be held down by the government, a slave to society. So they found America, and they claimed it as their own, with waterfront sticks houses all around. They found these Indian people with feathers on their head, and they figured they would kill them all because it was their land. They found it first. So they proceeded to kill about 60 million of them. As the white people continued to come over, more and more of war and more blood was shed. I firmly believe the reason this occurred was because of a communication barrier. The white men couldn't speak Indian, and the Indians couldn't speak white men. This was the problem of all the war. As opposed to their friends on their left and right dying with them, I'm sure any rational human being would much rather sit down and discuss terms to come to an agreement so war does not have to be made. I'm a firm believer that this communication barrier was the single most important factor of all these wars and deaths. But today, is there still a communication barrier up around the world? Or did we all just go full retard? There are people that can translate to any language. We can learn any language with Rosetta Stone. Anything in our technological advanced age is possible. But for war to be going on today and tomorrow, that's unacceptable by any human rational thought. There were 5 laws in effect against the new Americans, prohibiting them from living a comfortable life. After they dumped the tea off of the boat from Great Britain, saying that they weren't going to pay tax on it any longer, the king enforced 4 more laws, making it a total of 9 laws. In 1764 was the Sugar Act/Revenue Act that specifically targeted America for money. In 1764, the Currency Act. The colonies couldn't create their own money. The Stamp Act. The Quartering Act, which made the British soldiers able to stay in any home that they wish. And the Townshend Act. Tax on tea, paint, glass, paper, lead. Prior to this, there were no tax on the settlers whatsoever. But making all these laws, taking the ability for them to print their own money away, taking the ability away from them to make their own money, it's making it really hard on them now. They're smart though. They did it successfully, and it's still going on today. They still print our money. Isn't that amazing? Very sadly, we still don't have the power to print our own money. But we could. So these 5 taxes, 5 taxes only on the settlers, were enough for them to have a revolution and say that is too much. That is taxation without representation. That is unfair. You guys are hindering our life. our way of living and our pursuit of happiness. This is wrong. These 5 taxes are wrong. And they stood up and fought against it. And in the history books of America today, we're proud of those people. But that was only 5 laws. After the king enacted 4 more laws, the Boston Port Bill, the Administration of Justice Act, and the Massachusetts Governor Act, and the Quebec Act, that was war. We broke away and declared our independence from these unjust taxers. But Thomas Jefferson, a good man, a president of the United States, a writer of the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, he purchased the land from the natives, doubling the size of the United States of America. The patriots, who we call founding fathers, flew the yellow flag that said, "Don't tread on me," meaning that a small government is best. They had been there and done that, seen that, studied it their whole lives. He was a lawyer his whole life and studied politics his entire life. And they broke away from the tyranny of 5 taxes. Accounts receivable tax, alcohol and tobacco tax, bail even before you're proven guilty of traffic violation tax, black liquor tax, building permit tax, business license, car rental, cell phone, CDL, cigarette, corporate, court fines, dog license tax, energy practitioner, estate, emission, exercise, federal income, federal unemployment tax, fishing license and tags, food license, fuel permit, gasoline, gift, hotel, hunting, inheritance tax, inventory tax, interest tax, errors and liquor, luxury, marriage, $3,000 UCS of non-American spouse, Medicare, payroll tax for PayPal, internet, property, septic service, state income, state unemployment, Social Security, telephone, a lot of telephone, toll bridge tax, tunnel tax, traffic fines. Oh, there's a lot more than that. Utility tax, vehicle registration tax, vehicle watercraft, well tax to get water from the earth. And the typical genius American thinks, no big deal. It's not enough taxes. I'll pay them. Sounds good to me. That's not many taxes at all. I am clearly represented in the matters of all these taxes, and I believe in them. I will go to work every single day or 5 days a week, and I will give my time to pay these taxes. I think all these taxes are a great idea. It's not a lot at all. Did you know recently a MEAC strategy report came out saying that if anyone is patriotic or cares to own guns or follow the Constitution whatsoever, or if you have the movie America, Freedom to Fascism, that you are suspect of terrorism. Was leaked by a police officer because he felt that he was subject to terrorism based off this report. Some people think he should get the Medal of Honor